building the bridge was tied to substantial completion. Within 2 years of substantial completion, which is now no longer a percentage of residential units, but just a fixed number, whatever. Because before it was all the residential units in buildings 2 and 3, and I think 25% of the 9 through 12, and in consultation with the Planning Commission, they said, well, you could just maybe not build building number 2 and then avoid having to build a bridge. So we said, all right, well, why don't we just we'll just look at the number. What was the number of units that would have been? And that will now be the number. So it's 53 units, whatever building they're located in, whether it's 2, 3, and 9, 9 through 12, whatever buildings they're in.
Yeah, like if there's a problem with somewhere.
That's pretty much what I thought, but I wasn't sure. So when does the applicant intend to design an application for the bridge?
Well, once after. I believe the permit applications have to be submitted within 12 months of recording of the plans. But
I believe that to be true too. I'm just looking for the note.
And then completion within 2 years of substantial completion of the bridge, within 2 years of substantial completion of the project.
All that makes sense. So what happens if
Sometimes, can I get that in writing?
Sometimes. What happens if the township doesn't want the bridge? Or what happens if you, for whatever reason, are unable to obtain all permits and approvals necessary in order to build the bridge?
Then we don't build the bridge.
What happens to the funds at that point?
What funds?
You have we just released the bond. Is that what you're anticipating would happen?
Oh, for the financial security? Yeah, if we can't build the bridge for purposes, reasons beyond our control, such as the township says, you can't put that bridge in our township, correct, then that we would not have to build the bridge and the financial security would be returned to us.
So, again, that's what I thought, and that gets me to the crux of my concern, which is the borough bargained for a number of things in exchange for some of the things that it's worked with the applicant on. One of them is the bridge, which is very important because otherwise the trail, as nice as it is, doesn't really go anywhere. It's not connected through to anything. The applicant has bargained for providing that bridge, but to me, I think what would be appropriate would be that in the event that the applicant can't get permits for the bridge, then the amount that it was going to expend on that bridge should be made available to the borough for either its own continued effort to put the bridge in or for some other open space improvement within the borough.
Actually, the borough never bargained for that. From day one, that bridge was never going to be built if the township did not provide for it. And under the land acquisition agreement, I think it's section 2A, it expressly says that our obligation to build the bridge is contingent upon the municipal approvals, including the township. So therefore, from the very beginning, the borough knew that the bridge would not be built if the township does not approve it. So.
Michael, are we permitted to impose conditions that differ from the prior conditions with this amended approval?
Well, you can't amend the land acquisition agreement. And that's where
that's correct. You can amend the original preliminary approval, which we are actually doing this evening.
Correct.
We can amend anything in the conditional use approval, but that's not coming into play here. But the land acquisition, we couldn't amend anything that was part of that because that's not before us right at this moment. I think my two other concerns are that as long as the applicant has done everything that they're required to do to obtain the permits. And if some other authority having jurisdiction says, no, we're not going to let you build it for whatever reason, I believe that they're probably in the right to say then that they met their obligation under the agreement, because there's an impossibility of performance at that point in time. The second thing is we have to be careful about imposing any condition on the applicant for off-site improvements that are not directly related to the project.
Yeah, I understand the rational nexus question, right?
Yeah. So,
Well, how is the bridge directly related to the project?
it's part of the trail. It's not considered an off-site improvement that is so attenuated from the project that we would not be permitted to require it. You can ask for intersection improvements that may be several 100 yards away if they're related to the project. What you can't do is say, go build me a playground halfway across town or something along those lines. You can ask if there's a recreation fee, you can ask for that, but I'm not that I know that's not what you're saying. I know that you're not saying give us the money and we'll do something else in the town with it. But I sort of was. I sort of was saying, well, no, you weren't.
These new residents are going to be using all of the recreational and open space facilities in the town, and we're short on them. But you're telling me that that's a no-go.
We don't have a park and recreation tax fee. So normally there's towns that do. Another 100 residents, 200 says you of that nature, but asking for completely off-site improvements that are not connected to the project is not permitted.
I'm in a bad position on this one. I am, however, still I'm very concerned that the end result of what the borough bargained for with respect to the exchange, with the provision of the municipal parking area, land, which has now been, shall we say, compromised under the allowable shared parking ordinance. And what we do get is a trail, which is currently just stops at the end of a property, and the hope for a bridge. So to my mind, in the end of the game, we got very little for our level of cooperation, and so I'm very concerned that we've kind of put ourselves in a position where we haven't gotten what we thought we were going to get. And I would ask, is it something that we can ask the applicant, since they are prepared to build a bridge, would they be prepared to work with us then on an alternate open space improvement that would be available to its residents and everybody else in the event they can't build a bridge?
Short answer is no. This is what we proposed. In our view, the borough is getting this piazza for free that's going to cost millions of dollars to build. The restoration and construction of the greenway is something that would not exist if we weren't willing to put that in. In our view, from day one, everybody has known that you can't build a bridge that only has, one side to it. It has to lead somewhere. And everyone knew that from day one. And when the land acquisition agreement was done, the whole time, we would love it if it goes in. All indications are, as I've told you at the work session, that a majority of the township still supports it. I don't know why they wouldn't.